This is the plaintiff, Betty Crawford. She says her neighbor, the defendant, damaged her house when he sprayed varnish on it while fixing his fence. Now her house is ruined. The defendant refuses to give her the money to fix her house properly. She's at her wit's end over all of this drama and is suing for the $1,700 she's owed. This is the defendant, Jermaine Pinkston. He says he admits his pump sprayer went haywire and accidentally sprayed a little paint on the plaintiff's house. He offered to pay a contractor to fix the overspray, but the defendant refused and demanded an exorbitant amount of money, which was a clear sign this woman was trying to take advantage of him. Honestly, he's happy he's here being sued today because he wants the judge to set this woman straight and expose her for being the gold digger she really is. He's accused of getting sloppy. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $500, the amount he paid a contractor to attempt to fix the problem.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant sprayed varnish on her house as he was spray painting his fence with varnish. He says it was just not that much, so no big deal. It's the case of, I got a shiny new fence and I am not that happy.
Thank you, Douglas. Betty Crawford, you are suing Jermaine Pinkston,
yes,
your neighbor, for $1,700. The estimate that you received for repairing the siding on your house that you say he ruined. You're counterclaiming against her $500, a down payment you paid a contractor to do that, and she wouldn't let him. All right, let me hear from you.
Around about July of this year, around about the 4th of July, Mr. Pinkston informed my daughter that he had got paint on my fence. And I said, okay.
On your fence?
On my fence. That's what he's told my daughter.
Okay.
So I didn't mind that, even though it was paint on the fence. So a couple of weeks after that, I said, oh, let me see if he got the paint off my fence.
You did not, like, go by to see the damage?
No.
You live in the house, right?
Yes.
And you couldn't be bothered to walk 10 feet to go look at it?
I did not.
That's so funny.
So
weren't you curious?
If it was just paint.
Well, you didn't know what it just was because you never looked. So
I never
weren't you
looked.
Curious?
No, I did not.
Oh, man, I would have been so panicky. I would have run out. It's just, must be good to be you.
So, well, I guess I was running with my grandchildren for baseball practice and ball games. So
wait, you're going to tell me that? Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So
yeah, I know how life
weeks
is. I have 3 teenage girls. But I still can find the time to go find out what the heck my neighbor did. But anyway, go ahead.
So about 2 weeks after that, I decided to walk around there, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this isn't on the fence. This is on my siding."
See, that's
of
the
my
thing.
house.
I assume that it's going to be more than what the guy, and I assume it's not going to be a drop. I assume that it's going to be mayhem. So show me the pictures.
Here's a
what
picture.
was it?
It was varnish.
Varnish, and it wasn't just on your fence.
It was
on the side of your home.
of my house, and all around the siding. These are all the pictures.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So what were you doing?
I was staining my fence, preparing for my daughter's birthday party.
And you got all this varnish on somebody else's house?
Yeah, absolutely. I was using a pump sprayer, and I guess the wind or something took it over, but the pump sprayer did malfunction, and I got
Either that or you're not very
Yeah.
careful.
No, I was careful. I mean, I didn't get it on the other neighbors.
So you got it on the fence and the house, or just the house?
The fence and the siding. And when I notified her daughter that I got it on the siding.
Why didn't you tell on the siding? You did tell the daughter that,
Yeah.
you're saying?
But
Okay.
I have a note from my daughter
Saying no such thing.
No
All right.
such thing.
And what happened to, was the fence damaged as well?
My fence was not damaged.
Okay.
And the house is so close that when you come around to the north side of my house, which is the whole length of the house, that was paint right there on the side. So Mr. Pinkston and I have had a little words before. So
On different issues?
On different issues. So
Okay.
I chose not to go over. So I called my daughter and I told her about the paint. So she told me, Mom, don't go over there by yourself.
What were the prior issues you had?
Well, when he first moved in, that February when we had such a heavy snow, his house goes down. He has no walkway. He just has a walkway on the side of his house, and my property is right there on the side for grass and stuff, but my husband cemented it in for some time. So on that side of my house, I get seepage and I get water in my basement. So I didn't know him at the time, so I pecked on the window first, and then I raised the window, and I didn't know a name, and I said, "Sir, please don't put your snow on that side of my house. I get water in my basement." And he turned around and told me, "I can't hear you." So if he could respond, he heard me. So he kept on throwing the snow.
I think you both could have been a little more neighborly, frankly, hearing the story.
So, who lives in a house here? Quick. How do you get along with your neighbor?
I keep to myself and be respectful of their property is probably the best bet. If you're going to have loud parties, make sure you pass out your phone number so they call you before they call the cops.
Or invite him to the party, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, my way of getting along with my neighbors, I avoid them entirely.
Jeez, this is one happy family around here going inside the courtroom.
Let me just ask you this then. You were planning to do what to remedy the situation? Because it sounds like you were admitting that this was obviously your fault or whatever.
Right. So I tried to pressure washer it off. It didn't come off. It was water-based stain. So, I assumed it'd come off with a little pressure. It didn't. So I tried some other chemicals, nothing too strong, and it actually
Made the house white.
Yeah, it turned the siding a little white. So I say at this point.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point we can go to Plan B, which was either paint over it or replace it totally. I told her if she still has contact information on the contractor that did it before, she can get an estimate and we can go from there. She got the estimate, but I thought it was way overpriced.
How much was it?
$1,700.
All right. So you went out and got your own estimate, and your estimate was for how much?
I got 3 estimates.
You got 3 estimates, and they were for how much?
I took the one for $800, which
and
was
what were the
most.
other 2 for?
$650 and $400.
Look, can I see them?
I only have the one estimate from the guy I went with.
Okay. Because it doesn't sound like self-preservation to pick the highest estimate. But in any event, so according to you, you picked the highest estimate, which is $850. And does that estimate say $800? Okay. So did she approve that person working on her house?
No.
You know what? I would imagine she did because he went on her property to fix it. And what I was told that she was yelling at him and kicking him off his property, saying he was doing it incorrectly. It wasn't a hard job. I understand I made the mistake and I wanted to fix it. That's why we didn't paint over. We went to replace everything. I heard that she kicked him off the property and was screaming at him and just defaming my name as well. So. Okay.
Do you have that person's not here to testify, right?
No.
And do you have an affidavit from him, a statement from him?
No.
What happened with the fellow?
Well, when the fella came, he told me he had worked with the Property Brothers. And he said, "Are you familiar with them?" And I said, "Yeah, I've seen them as I've surfed the channels." And I said, "I've never seen you." And he said, "Oh, I'm usually in the background." So he looked at the stuff and he said he could work on it. I said, "But you've got to give me a contract." I said, "You cannot work on my house without a contract." I said, "Because if you do, I don't have a leg to stand on if you mess up." And he tells me, "Oh, I can't give you no contract." And I asked him, "Why?" He said, "Because you're not paying for it." I said, "But you forgot one thing. This is my house, and I need a contract. If you fall or something and hurt yourself, then you'll want to sue me." And he got, so then.
Did you had a written contract with him, right?
Yeah, we can
Not
back
with
that.
me, though.
Let's back that story all the way back.
Wait, you don't know. You don't know what she talked about with
Right,
another
you're
person
right,
who you didn't bring as a
exactly.
witness and don't have a statement from.
Exactly.
You just know hearsay. But my question to you is, you had a contract with him, right? Correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. This says $500.
Right, that was the $500 I gave him to start the job. And the other 3 was going to be paid upon completion of the job.
Okay, and nowhere in here does it say how much the contract is for. Let me see the estimate that you got.
This is an estimate I got from the guy that originally did it. And this is the estimate when I came home from Bible class on a Tuesday, and he was there working on my house.
Who's he?
Angelo,
okay, the other fellow.
the property.
Okay.
And that's when I told him, I said, you didn't give me a contract, so you cannot work on my house. And that's when I asked him to leave. And he went to his car and got this. And I said, that's no contract of telling me what you've done. I said, you cannot work here
Let me see
without
that.
a contract. So
What
I
is
asked
that?
him to leave.
So that was just something that says, at next door neighbor's house to do spray stain on siding. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't even say I'm replacing the siding. All right. Look, here's the thing. I applaud you on how picky you are, because usually litigants aren't in front of me. The guy has a point when he says, my deal is with him, But she has a point when she says, hey, I got to prove you standing on my property and doing my job. So I might have given the guy a chance to do it first, because maybe he gets it right. If he doesn't get it right, then, I sue him for the $1,700, which is exactly where you are right now. But who knows? Maybe the person could have done a good job and then does it and everything's fine and everybody goes home happy, especially when it's my neighbor, because I don't want to end up with, disagreement with my neighbor. And, when you say, oh, if he falls, he'll sue me, he's still going to, the contract doesn't mean that if he falls, he doesn't sue you. That doesn't make a difference,
But may I say something?
Yeah.
When he was working, he didn't have the proper tools, Judge.
Why? Because you're an expert on siding?
Oh, no, I'm no expert. But I know that you need one of those little saws, like the rotating saws. He had something look like pinking shears trying to cut my stuff.
So you already saw the writing on the wall that this was going to be kind of a hack job.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I told him, I said, you're taking it off, and those things
we're
are
done.
supposed to...
Was the party good?
Oh, yeah, it was great. It was
Oh,
fantastic.
that's awesome. How old is your daughter?
3.
3. She's not even going to remember it, and you're going to pay her $1,700 for how you ruined the side of her house. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you,
Oh, you
sir.
have a counterclaim for $500. What's that for?
My deposit.
That you paid the other guy?
Yeah.
Let me suggest to you that in the future, you never pay someone a deposit to work on someone else's house without that person's authority. Okay? Because it is her house. She does have the right to say, no, I don't want to use your guy. Your guy looks fly-by-night to me. And you jumped the gun by hiring and giving the guy a deposit without making sure that she was fine with it. So, no, that's on you, and you have to pay to go the value of the damage that you did to her. $1,700.
May I
Ready
get
for the
my
plaintiff, 0 for you.
May I get
Everybody
my
gets
court
their
costs?
court costs. Whenever they win a case, they get their court costs.
Okay,
How did
thank
I
you
know
so
what she
very
was going to
much.
say before she said it?
Yeah, so here he comes. How do you feel about that verdict?
Well, I wanted her to get a siding fix regardless, so I'm glad either way.
This is your next door neighbor, right?
It is my neighbor, so I'm going to have to deal with her for a long time.
All right, so what are things like in the neighborhood?
Quiet. We're going to keep it that way.
All right, around this way. All right, there he goes. That's your next door neighbor, and
Yes, it is.
you're gonna try to get along and
Oh, most certainly.
peace in the valley.
Peace in the valley, yes. I hope this will bring us all together,
What are you gonna invite him to the next barbecue?
I think we have to work on that one, okay?
You gonna work something out?
Yeah.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, real simple. If somebody damages your property, they cannot in any way dictate who or how to fix it.